Don't mind that I look kind of gross, guys. I'm very ill, my voice is ruined, but we move. I've been dwelling on this video for a while now, and honestly, I just really need to get it off my chest. I'm really just trying to piece together how a certain anime changed my perspective, not only on art, but on life. Wow, that sounded pretentious. Jeez, okay. And after watching this anime, I just really wanted to tell you why you should too. So this video is all about Tsubasa Yamaguchi's Blue Period. Now, I am no painter. I'm terrible at drawing, art, I always have been. I'm like what being tone deaf would be to singing as equivalent to the art world. But I am improving. However, this series, predominantly based on painting and contemporary modern art, still moved me. Blue Period, so called because of Picasso's monochromatic paintings between 1901 and 1904.
It's an art project.
Okay, I like it, Picasso.
An artist continuously mentioned within the show as our protagonist battles with his own ideals of what is good artistry. Our protagonist is Yatora Yaguchi, who is initially portrayed to us as a popular, hard-working, a nice dude who goes out drinking with his friends and watches football and eats ramen. Standard stuff. And his life changes just based upon the exposure to a oil painting made by his senior, Maru Mori. And this begins the transition from Yatora's seemingly mundane life into one which he'd never been exposed to before. The world of art. See, what makes Yatora such an interesting character is something which I believe may touch a lot of people, because it touched me as well. And it's simply because he was absolutely talentless. Or at least as the audience, we're led to believe that at the start he wasn't blessed with talent. He arrives to the series and furthermore his first art club lesson being the worst in his class, and yet through persistence and determination, he begins to find a passion in art. He begins to enjoy it, and so begins his journey to enter Gaidai Art School, and he needs to work really hard and really fast to get in because he's way behind everyone else. See, the first arc of this season really encapsulates a very natural transition into something new. The dismayal from others, the hardships of constantly trying to improve your skill set, only to see people you are surrounded by are 100 times more skilled than you are. It delves into one's place in this world. Do you throw your passions aside, or do you chase them? Do you keep fighting? Because as what's displayed, if you keep fighting, you may just end up exceeding your own expectations. The anime itself depicts some really nice visuals. The painting scenes are expressive and dynamic and really utilises the flexibility of the animation to bring us into the mentality of our characters. I also found the implementation of the art pieces really well done in the series. Look, it's an art anime, I mean, what do you expect? But it's the way it's used to tell the story and actually capture our characters' emotions, which even through the means of mise en scène are incredibly effective. But in the series, we actually get some genuine insight into the author Yamaguchi's education in the Tokyo Art University. Throughout this narrative, she's actually educating us on the technical nuances of art and how different aspects emphasize different meanings. I mean, you guys may have already known this stuff, I don't know, I didn't take art in school. I'm just an uneducated swine, so what do I know? I really should have taken art, I don't know why I didn't. The show does an incredible job at illustrating the emotional journey of an artist. It's clear to see that the author has experienced all of these feelings and more, from trying to balance your relationships, to the fear that you won't make it no matter how hard you try, to the self-doubt others place on you, as visualised with Ryuji's character, who is one of my favourite characters, and I'll get into explaining that later. The theme. The quality of your idea is paramount. See, the theme or motif dictates everything, no matter what it may be. And see, this is the remarkable thing about Blue Period, because its message can be carried through any art form, not just painting. But it could be dance, music, film, photography, catering and the preparation of food. The composition of a painting is almost equivalent to the ingredients used within a particular dish. It's many parts that make a whole, and a whole could be in itself a narrative with beats. So many times in the series we see Yatura get his own work reviewed, and so many times he's told by his teachers that it just isn't quite there, and it's literally because he just hasn't established his motif correctly. See, too many ideologies, or a lack of, can ruin an image. It can come across as either too self-indulgent or just lack any substance whatsoever. See, what I learned is to look at art from both the perspective of the creator and the viewer. This is where feedback and review are so important, to have others watch and criticise your work, all in order to grow and become more aware of what affects your peers. Without assessment, you could just get caught up in your work and make something that doesn't leave any lasting impact. What's worse is a creator could make their own work and think it's really good and almost be deluded into thinking that it's better than others when, in actuality, on the other side of the spectrum, in the viewership aspect, it isn't. See, this requires discipline. This requires an understanding of audience's interpretation of your own product. Because I could have loads of ideas in my head that I want to put down on paper, but you have to understand that there's a fine line between the creator and the audience. The ideas that you may want to express may not come across in the same way simply because people view things differently. And that in itself is a skill, to appreciate how audiences can interpret art, and how you can find the fine balance, the fine medium, in order to express yourself without making it too subtle. And there's really something to be said about having too many ideas, because it's all about narrowing it down and allowing your personality or your ideology to transcend to the audience, instead of holding everything back and making it really hard to understand. See, at all times within art and life, there really needs to be balance. It's the yin and yang. There has to be suffering for there to be peace. And that's Yatura's arc throughout this season. It's about finding balance within himself and understanding his own voice in the art world. This is where it gets a little more personal. See, this show had quite an interesting impact on me because I saw myself in Yatura's shoes. And what made the largest impact on me were the pauses. The moments of breathing space where Yatura is literally told by Uber that he needs to stop working so hard and try to enjoy the craft again, to have fun. See, when making something meaningful, it's all about manifestation, giving something breathing space and time to become what you want it to be, instead of rushing to make it happen. And this exact thing happened to me when I was directing my recent short film. And it's something I've actually been debating whether I should send to festivals or not, because it didn't quite encapsulate what I genuinely wanted to tell to the audience. And this happened simply because the production was such a logistical nightmare. Instead of trying to tighten my idea and narrow it down and really try to give the audience something that I wanted to give them, it just became a battle of logistics, trying to co-produce, trying to handle so many other factors which I shouldn't have had to handle, but in this situation I had to. See, I got too worked up trying to deal with other things because of other individuals, and this isn't an excuse. I know what went wrong, and I'm still happy that we made the film in the end. See, I'm self-aware of what I could have done better, and I'm definitely self-aware of what others could have done better, and to be honest, it immediately just made me want to make something new, just to jump back in and say, okay, I need to make something better. And here lies the problem. It took a while, but I managed to distance myself from film and art in general because it just became a burden. I was even interested in photography quite a lot. I'd post on my Instagram quite consistently, but during this production period, I just sort of got drained, like completely. I was ruined. And it became more of a job rather than something I actually enjoyed doing when I was younger. But after getting back into fiction and watching films again, and eventually watching Blue Period, something clicked. See, I didn't need to step away from anything or throw anything in the bin. I just needed a fresh start and a new perspective. The other day I was in London visiting different art museums with my girlfriend, and honestly, after watching Blue Period, I think my mind has just been like blown. It's completely opened up to things I'd never have experienced or considered before. See, my mind opened up to what could be told through art, all this imagery and sensory experiments, all in order to express an ideology. I would have probably laughed at a lot of this stuff when I was younger, but now I can actually observe it, delve into the intent, the craftsmanship, and the symbiosis of the two in order to create a full picture. From materials involved to scale to composition, the things shown in this anime are things I don't even think artists should know, but literally everyone. I wish more people would visit art museums. I wish people would just try to do it themselves, just pick up a pen and paper and write something or draw something. It would be cool to see what other people can express through the art mediums, and there's a lot of them. And people can literally do anything and make anything. Let's go back to Ryuji. See, some people saw her as a bit of an odd addition, but I absolutely loved her character. I thought she was incredible. See, at the Tate Museum, I saw an exhibit of a photographer called Laura Aguilar. The exhibit was called Clothed Unclothed, and for context, I went to the Tate Museum literally 2 days after finishing Blue Period, so you can kind of see where this is going. Clothed Unclothed is exactly what it sounds like. It's a series of diptych photographs of the human form, both with clothes on and with clothes off. Obviously, I can't show any of her work on YouTube, but Laura was an incredibly gifted photographer, and I do recommend anyone over the age of 18 to really check out her work, especially this particular exhibit. Like, she was amazing, really do look at her stuff. These images expressed a counter-narrative to depict vulnerability in a radical way. And when I saw her work, it just really hit me how one's personal ideologies can really shine through. These models look completely natural in both states because obviously it is natural. And yet, as Blue Period shows, many individuals pull a blind over their physical selves. Ryuji constantly changes her clothes to reject her conformity and eventually opens up her feelings to Yatura through the means of painting, which I think is a fantastic way of doing so. It's pretty much how like all the characters find themselves within this show, it's just painting something really good. But in my opinion, it's one of the best approaches to self-identity because it's done in a respectful and really insightful way. I believe all of these characters are fleshed out enough in the first season for any of us to sort of grasp one and go, yeah, I'm kind of dealing with that. And to be honest, for me, this anime/manga really provided me with a valuable lesson which I'm absolutely going to be taking into my future. So whether you consider yourself an artist, or a retail assistant, or a banker, this series is really valuable and I think it holds some gems. Little pieces of information which I think we all need, either to inspire us or to reignite a flame that was once diminished. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please do subscribe. We recently hit 50 subscribers and honestly I'm blown away by the sort of support for the videos, and I love making stuff for you guys. And also, if you enjoyed some of the photographs in this video, those are actually taken by me, so that's all sort of on my Instagram, and I love working on my photography and just messing around on there, but you know, feel free to follow that as well. Anyways, take care and watch Blue Period. It's on Netflix, so it's pretty easy to get to.